Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to Life from Nurse. Hope you guys are doing well today. We're going to be doing a reaction video. We're going to be looking at a video that was released by Mr. Porter. They've done some really great watch coverage. And we're going to be looking at a video called The Language of Design, Understanding the Vacheron Constantin Overseas. So just to kind of give you a background about me and Vacheron Constantin. Vacheron Constantin is probably one of my favorite brands, especially when you look at the Holy Trinity. They're probably one of my favorite brands. I've always felt that I have a close connection to the Vacheron Constantin Toledo just because it was one of the first watches that I actually stumbled on. There's a really great video that they do on it, and that kind of like was one of the videos that I watched when I was initially getting into watches. And so I saw this video. I actually haven't watched this video. It came out late May of 2020, so it's relatively new. They're going to be talking about the Overseas, which is a very, very iconic watch within their line. It has a lot of the design elements that are similar to the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, the Patek Philippe Nautilus, and it's a lot of the times, you know, a lot of people battle them and say like, which one of these three would I go for? So we're going to be looking at this video and give you my thoughts on it. I think I'll put a link in the description to the original video so you can check it out. And so yeah, that's what we're going to be doing today. But before we get into that, be sure to hit that like button as well as subscribe to the channel if you like these types of videos. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
What links the oldest watch manufacturer in the world with a medieval order of Catholic knights? The answer lies in the design of the Vacheron Constantin Overseas. One might be forgiven for mistaking the Overseas as just another mid-1970s stainless steel sports watch, in the same vein as the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak or the Patek Philippe Nautilus.
I said it.
Their integrated designs revolutionized watchmaking during this decade. Driven by demand from the Italian market, they were the first steel models from the truly luxurious Maison, and are so popular today that they still dictate trends nearly 50 years later. Italian sophisticates wanted something more informal and durable than the dainty, round, gold-cased watches they were used to, but without compromising on style. The sharp lines echoed contemporary trends in both cars and tailoring, as well as carrying with them a faint air of sci-fi futurism. These days, models like the Overseas still look effortlessly current and have thrived in an era when increasingly a suit isn't necessary.
Okay, 120. I just wanted to stop it there. I know we're only like a minute into this, but I thought it was very ironic that they mentioned the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak and the Patek Philippe Nautilus. Again, it's I think the initial perception, and it was my initial perception when thinking about this video, is how it related to those watches, but it's actually this video is actually doing a great job of educating on the fact that this was actually something that collectors in Italy wanted, and they wanted a watch that was not a 35mm gold watch. They wanted something a little bit more durable, and I think that is something that comes from this watch. Also, I just want to take a moment. The blue dial on this watch is absolutely phenomenal. I'm a blue dial person. This is my memo sale. You've seen it many times in my videos, but the blue dial on that, it's glossy and it has this beautiful depth to it. I'm already enjoying this video.
Despite being an important watch in that tradition, in fact, one of the first, the Overseas doesn't always get the credit it deserves. Looked at in its own right, it's evolved into one of the most interesting and intricate examples of its kind, and it all stems from one shape, the Maltese Cross. The Maltese Cross, a four-armed cross made from four arrowheads meeting at their tips, was originally created as the insignia of the Order of Knights of the Hospital of St. John of Jerusalem. The order adopted the cross in the 1600s, by which time they were headquartered in and permanently associated with the island of Malta. The Maltese Cross was chosen by Vacheron Constantin as its logo in 1880, some 125 years after the brand was founded, for much more than just its aesthetic appeal. It's a shape with mechanical applications. Maltese Cross wheels are used throughout watchmaking, so it was felt that the logo emphasized the brand's technical expertise. It would be more than another century, however, before the brand turned it from just a symbol into the design language that completely represents the Overseas. Directly inspired by an archive model from the brand's past, reference 222, the Overseas was launched in 1996 when it gained the name and its current devotion to the Maltese Cross. We can immediately find a stylistic nod on the bracelet. Every link takes the form of the cross sliced in two, the pieces chaining together with the tiniest possible gap between them, meeting at the clasp where a full-sized cross emphasizes the point.
Okay, 3 minutes in. I just want to go back. Interesting information about the logo. Interesting that it was actually the logo of... it has some historical significance to it, and I also think it's interesting how you can really see the Maltese Cross come through. I know they mentioned the bracelet, but something that they have yet to mention is actually almost like the bezel of this watch. It kind of has like a cross section of one of those Maltese crosses. Obviously, there's more than 4, but it's another area of this watch where you can actually see this Maltese Cross design come through. So that was interesting. They also mentioned the reference 222, which is a reference that Vacheron Constantin had produced previously, and it has very, very similar stylistic elements to the watches that I'd mentioned previously from Audemars Piguet and Patek Philippe in their Nautilus and their Royal Oak. So it's cool that they did mention how historically that those design elements came through. I'll let this
With a
play
sharp
to the end
juxtaposition of brushed
left,
and finely polished surfaces, it's a hugely ambitious bracelet design. Though the Overseas identity as a steel sports watch comes from its integrated bracelet and bold geometric case lines, that bezel really controls the entire look of the watch and defines the Overseas far more than the dial, or even, dare we say it, the movement. It's also where we find another Maltese Cross in disguise. Each of these wide notches and the teeth between them are shaped exactly like the tips of the cross. There are crosses elsewhere too, on the dial as you'd expect, but also on the crown, and hidden inside the watch are others, while their counterparts on the outside get all the attention. Back in 1880, when the watchmakers of Vacheron Constantin chose this logo, they could not have foreseen it becoming the nucleus of the design language for an entire watch. No other watch can claim a design motif that literally runs right through it.
Great video. I really just shouldn't speak. I should just let the video kind of do it, because they mentioned the bezel of the watch having the inspiration from that Maltese Cross. It's very, very interesting to see, and it's nice to kind of get some information about about this watch. One of the things that really kind of drew me about this watch is this is essentially collectors who voiced that they wanted something a little bit sportier, something a little bit more rugged, something that wasn't a smaller gold watch, and I think this really does come out in this watch. I know that the Overseas has undergone a couple of iterations when it comes to the design of it. There's been some things that people liked, some people didn't really like, and I think the latest iteration on this design has really hit the nail on the head with what people are looking for. And I think it actually has to do with just simplifying the watch, both in its dial layouts, the fonts, and the symmetry of the dials. I think that is what makes this watch, I think, or at least this evolution of the watch, I think, very special. So that was nice to see. I think this is another example of how you can take something that is supposed to be tooly and very rugged, and you can apply these really beautiful design elements to it and make it something that you can enjoy. I mean, not saying you're not going to enjoy it if it's rugged, but something that you can see it's taken an artisan some time to put their their design and flare elements and finishing to this watch, and make something that really is truly high-end and very, very focused on essentially its beauty, the beauty of this watch sitting on your wrist, and how that can happen. I think the history of the Maltese Cross was really interesting, that it was how it evolved from, it was the sign of the Knights of the Templar in Italy. I think that was really, really interesting, and a cool anecdote for really where the design of this watch has grown to. So great video by Mr. Porter. I'll put a link in the description to the original video so that you guys can check it out. All thank yous go to Mr. Porter for creating this really beautiful video, and also allowing us to see how the history of Vacheron Constantin, as well as the design elements of some of their earlier references, has translated into the Overseas that we have today. So if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments what you think. Also, if you didn't do it in the beginning of the video, be sure to hit that like button for us. And with this said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time.